Number 12. X plus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 25.
Alright.
What is this an equation of?
Angles? Wait.
What?
Equation of the difference of squares.
No.
Wait, I'm confused by that question. What do you mean?
Isn't it a circle?
Yes. It's the equation of a circle.
How do you know that?
Yeah, maybe that's just the
X squared plus y squared equals r squared. This is just a circle that's been shifted. Yes, you have.
Yes, we have. We learned that a while ago.
I don't
Like a long time ago.
You've learned it. I taught it to you.
I don't doubt that.
You're like, you're dumb.
Alright, so we take the derivative and then we solve it at the point that's given to us. So, what is this?
Okay. 2. And then like,
It's a chain rule.
yeah. And then parentheses x plus 2.
X plus 2 times. No, that's it.
It would be times 1, but we don't need to write that.
Yeah.
Plus
Plus
2 y plus 3. Plus, I mean times 1.
Okay.
I mean, no. What am I saying? And then
Oh my
to
God.
this.
I mean, you're not technically wrong. It's
I
just
just
not
had a
writing
brain
it.
Yeah.
lapse. Can you explain the chain rule again?
you take the derivative of the whole thing, so 2 times everything inside, subtract 1 from the top, so it's just 1.
And then times 1.
Then we take the derivative of the inside, but we're taking it with respect to x.
So y prime.
So y prime
Yeah.
equals
Zero.
Wait.
5.
That's squares. Sorry.
I was like, what?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I didn't say it this time.
Alright, so I need to get y prime by itself, so what do I do?
We gotta move this stuff over to the other side. So
Ow, Josh.
so you can subtract that, which you already did.
End of the
And
game.
then you divide the 2 times y plus 3.
And the 2's are going to cancel, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cancel them myself without having to rewrite them again. So you got negative x plus 2, or well, negative times x plus 2, or you can rewrite it as negative x minus 2 over y plus 3. Now evaluate at this point because we're trying to find slope. So that's going to be negative 1 plus 2 divided by negative 7 plus 3, which is negative 3 over negative 4, which is just 3 over 4. And that is my slope. All right, now we're taking it 2 steps farther. We are going to be using, it's going to give us the same information basically, but now they want us to find the line tangent to the curve and the line that's normal to the curve. Okay, so number actually wait. We're gonna do something else first actually, because I don't want to skip this part.
Okay.
14 says to find where the slope of the curve is defined so that, you know, anything that causes a problem we can't have. So x is equal to the cosine of y. So, take the derivative, and that would be
equals negative sign y prime.
negative sign y prime. So then I need y prime by itself. So that gives me 1 over negative sine of y. Now, it wants to know basically where the slope is defined. So essentially we're saying the opposite of where is it going to cause a problem. What would cause this to have a problem?
If the
Like where would it be undefined?
if the y like the
Okay, if the denominator is 0, so I need to find out what is y equal to such that it causes that to be 0 on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So according to your unit circle, where is sine 0?
let me see if I can remember.
And whenever you give it to us, we're going to also make it generic so that it works for every time that occurs.
Pi.
Pi. Anywhere else?
No.
Anywhere else? What happens when I go all the way around? 2 pi. And I keep going, it's causes a problem at
3 pi.
keep going. 4 pi, 5 pi, okay, so on and so forth. So we're going to say at k pi, okay, where k is just any constant, okay? Yeah, any whole number constant. So this is defined at every point except where y is equal to k pi. And we could probably specify where k is any integer, because negatives would also cause a problem if we went in the reverse direction. All right, I'm going to do one more like this. It's a little bit harder so we can see it, and then we'll move into the tangent and the normal thing. Number 16, x squared plus 4xy plus 4y squared minus 3x equals 6. So, you know, throwing you into the deep end over here.
Yeah. Okay.
See if you can swim.
We got this.
Wouldn't be me, but
So derivative
which is
2x.
okay.
Then we have a product rule.
We do have a product rule.
So 4x
4x.
times y prime
So first times the derivative of the second, so y prime,
plus 4
derivative of the first, is 4
times y,
times y,
and then plus 6.
nope,
Wait, no, I added them. 8y prime.
8y, y prime,
I
good.
wrote 6 maybe.
So it was, when we take the derivative of that, we have to put it out front, and then take 1 away, but then also multiply by y prime, which is a refresher. And then what?
3 equals 0.
Beautiful. Now what?
Oh, gotta go with y prime by itself.
So I'm going to leave all the y prime stuff on the left. Everything else I'm moving over. If you want to go ahead to save a step and take out the y prime, I'm going to do that just because, you know, there's a lot of writing. So it's going to be 4x plus 8y is equal to negative 2x minus 4y plus 3. I think.
Yes. That is what.
Now what?
Now we gotta divide the thing over.
So y prime is equal to negative 2x minus 4y plus 3 divided by 4x plus 8y. So now what's going to cause a problem?
If
You have two different unknowns.
Well, what in
If it's
general
zero
in
on
a
the
fraction,
bottom,
okay,
if
if a
it's
zero's
zero.
on the bottom. So I'm going to take the 4x plus 8y and set that equal to 0. And I would say get y by itself in this situation. So y is equal to negative 4x over 8, which is negative 1/2 x. So that's going to happen in multiple places, right? Because that's an equation of a line. So that's going to happen in several places. So basically the way we would say this is that this is defined at every point except here. Okay, where y is equal to negative 1/2 x. So if a point went in there and made that a true statement, okay, so if we had x was 2 and then y is negative 1, that doesn't work. That causes a problem. But everything else, okay, obviously not every single point, but if a point was like, 3 and 4, x is 3, y is 4, that works. That's fine. So basically that's how that would work. Okay. Now we can move on to the tangent and the normal. Let's do $18. I've got x squared plus y squared equals 25. What is this? Circle. So, then it gives me the point 3, negative 4 is where I'm going to be evaluating this at. So, I'm trying to find the tangent and the normal. So, what is the first thing that I need to do? Derivative, and then what?
Get y prime itself.
Okay. So that I can do what? Find
Slope.
slope. Okay. I know. I was like, man, if you tell me every little tiny step, this is going to be a hot minute. All right. So, what is the derivative of this?
2x plus 2y y prime
Okay.
equals 0.
So now subtract 2x over, divide by 2y. So this is going to be negative x over y. Plug in the numbers. So I've got negative 3 over negative 4, which is just 3/4. So this is the slope of which line?
Tangent.
So this is the slope of the tangent. So now when I go to do my tangent line, what is my tangent line going to be?
It's going to be y minus
4
oh, yeah.
Minus negative, so plus, yep.
equals 3/4 x.
And you can either leave it there or you can manipulate it either way. If you manipulate it, you end up getting 3/4 x minus 9 over 4 minus 16 over 4. So that's 3 over 4x minus 25 over 4. So either way is fine.
Just kind of looks gross.
Huh?
Just kind of looks gross like that.
I thought you said it looks worrisome, and I was like, well. All right, so then what is the slope of the normal line?
Negative 4/3.
Yep, so we flip it and change the sign. So to set up my normal line, I would have what?
Y.
Y
So then this one's a little nicer. You can leave it there, or negative 4/3 x plus 4 minus 4, which just gives us y is equal to negative 4/3 x.
Okay.
You want me to do a really hard one?
Go for it.
Okay.
Might as well.
26. X squared cosine squared of y minus sine of y equals 0.
Those are the few things I see here.
All right. Well, let's start with that. What do we see we have going on?
And we're seeing there's a product rule.
Okay, we got a product rule.
And there's a chain rule.
Within that, there's a chain rule.
That's
And then
fine.
there's another,
Difference.
the minus another chain.
Yep. This is actually a double chain here
Right.
Oh, because it's, yeah.
Yeah.
because of the y inside. If it was x, it wouldn't be, but because of the y, it is. So we're gonna start out with that product rule.
Okay.
So, product rule tells me first, x squared times the derivative of this cosine squared of y. Now remember, I can think of this as cosine of y squared if we need to. So if you need to kind of do this off to the side, might make it easier, might be a good idea, and then just throw it back in once we're done. So the derivative of the outer part would be,
2 cosine
okay, times the derivative of the inside,
negative sine y prime.
negative sine of y, then the derivative of the inside, yes, is y prime. So times y prime. So now to put it all back together over here, times negative 2, I'm going to do the y prime out front, cosine y, sine y. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to erase this now. I'm not going to have room, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Plus, that's only the first part of the product rule, so make sure you don't forget that.
Plus 2x times cosine squared y
Yep. And then
minus cosine y prime.
equals 0. So now I've got a y prime in two pieces. Okay, remember this x squared is being multiplied here. So this is negative 2x squared y prime cosine y sine y. I'm going to go ahead and move this piece that doesn't have any primes in it over to the other side. But then minus cosine of y times y prime equals negative 2x cosine squared of y. Now I can take my y prime out of everything. This one is pretty ugly. Negative 2x squared cosine y sine y minus cosine y equals negative 2x cosine squared y. Then divide by all that. Should not have volunteered to do this. I'm just kidding. Negative 2x cosine squared y divided by negative 2x squared cosine y sine y, goodness gracious, minus cosine y. Now, before you start plugging things in, I would simplify this down as much as possible.
Yes.
Now, what do you see that I can simplify down?
Okay, well. Yeah.
Cosine, I can take, I'm going to
Cosine.
do something I would normally tell you not to 2 probably, but I'm going to cross out the cosines. Okay, now remember, this is now a minus 1 by taking that out, and that takes out one of these cosines. Now remember, if it wasn't in both pieces on the bottom, I could not have done that. Okay? What else can I do?
2x.
It's only in one piece
Oh,
of the
that's right.
bottom. But what is still in every piece?
Negative.
A negative, so I can make all of those positives just to make life a little bit easier. So now, just to make it easier to see, I've got y prime is equal to 2x cosine y divided by 2x squared sine y plus 1. So now I can plug in the numbers. Oh, that I didn't even write down for you.
We weren't worried about the numbers.
0 and pi. So x is 0, y is pi. So this is going to be 2 times, oh, look at that. 2 times 0 times the cosine of pi divided by 2 times 0 times the sine of pi plus 1. So what is that?
1/1, so that's 0.
0, because there's 2 times 0, and 0 times anything is
Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
0. So I ended up with 0 over 1 when it was all said and done. So my slope of my tangent is 0. Okay.
I forgot they were multiple.
So the tangent line would be where?
Give me a second. Still writing. Would be 1 minus 0. What are you asking? Wait, what are you asking?
Tangent.
I need the equation of the tangent line.
Y
Yeah.
minus pi
Oh wait, yeah, I said that.
equals
You don't even need to write the whole thing. Your slope is,
slope is 0, so it would be multiplied by.
so you don't even need to write out the rest. So then that means that y is equal to pi. So the tangent line is that y is equal to pi. Now, what does that make my normal?
Y is equal to pi.
What was the slope of my tangent line?
0.
What is the slope of my normal line then?
0.
So,
So it's still white.
Y x equals. Wait.
It's the same thing.
there go the
So it's
AirPods.
same thing.
Hmm?
Oh, undefined action.
What do you know? Okay, about. I asked you a trick question. I gave you false information. Normal and tangent have to be what?
Perpendicular.
So what does that mean that slope would have to be?
Negative.
If I had a 0 slope, what is this slope?
Undefined.
Undefined. So what does that mean?
Undefined.
X equals
Undefined.
0. Because it had to go through this point. So a slope of 0 says y is equal to pi. If this point is part of it,
Oh.
then the perpendicular line has to be at x equals 0. Make sense now? Glad I didn't just throw that one to you by yourself.
You were losing me for a second.
Why are we all out of order? It's crazy. We're out of order. So I'm putting it back in order so we can go. I think. Not really sure. Did I just fix it? I think I fixed it. Yes. Okay. Now, we're not only finding the first derivative, but we're finding the second.
Okay, that's too far, Nathan.
What?
He said the third. I was like,
No,
too
no,
much.
none of that.
None of that. Kill him before it reproduces.
None of that.
We're not blessing anything right now.
All right. X to the 2/3
Oh.
plus y to the
bless your heart.
2/3 equals 1.
I want my heart to be
What?
Yeah, bless your heart and what's your name?
I said-
Nathan.
I kind of thought I heard I want my heart to be broken, and I was
No.
like, are you okay?
Like, like I'm sure there's people that can do that for you, but
Ew, 2/3.
I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they wanted that before.
No, yeah, no.
All right. First derivative.
Why does it gotta be?
Why's it gotta be this way?
So the first
Okay.
derivative would be 2/3 x.
Negative 1/3. To the negative 1/3.
I don't like
Negative
it.
1/3. Yeah, it looks naughty
It doesn't look like it.
Oh.
though.
And then,
Plus.
yeah, plus 2/3 y to the negative 1/3 y prime.
prime.
Good job, Nathan.
Equals.
0.
As it should.
Yeah, this looks disgusting.
Can we like rewrite it so it's not like that ugly?
Oh, we're not done.
Oh, we're not there at all.
Yeah, we're still not even done. Still
So, are we isolating?
We need to get y prime by itself.
Right. So you might want to move those times.
You
Might
might
not.
wanna.
Y prime equals 2/3 x raised to the negative 1/3 over. Wait, it'd be negative 2/3 x.
Now, when I divide by a fraction, I can.
Hold on. Let me-
Multiply by the reciprocal.
So that means what's going to happen?
It's gonna
Cancel.
cancel.
The 2/3 are going to cancel, so I'm going to end up with negative x to the negative 1/3 over y to the negative 1/3.
Okay, that's a little better.
Now, because those have negative exponents, what could I do?
Flip them.
I can just flip the whole thing.
Yeah.
So y prime is equal to negative y to the 1/3 divided by x to the 1/3. And the negative is just like out front, quote unquote, so we don't have to worry about that.
So now do we have to?
Take the derivative.
So another thing, just notationally, this could be written as negative parentheses y over x to the 1/3. You may see it written like that. So just, you know, if that happens, so that you know. Now, we get to take the second derivative.
Wow. Like,
Reduce the quotient.
Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't lose this. Don't lose this number. This is y prime right here.
right.
Because when we take the second derivative, you are going to end up with y primes. We're not solving for y prime in the second derivative. We're solving for y double prime. So anytime I have a y prime, I will replace it
With that.
with this.
Okay.
So I am taking now the second derivative of this. So I have y prime is equal to that. I've got, when I take the derivative of y prime, I get y double prime. So on the left, it's just going to be that. Is equal to, what do we have over here? and
Yeah, chain rule.
Change.
a chain rule.
Okay.
So,
I don't know.
Isn't there like an easier one?
Peyton's like, there's got to be another way.
Because I know we did something instead of doing the quotient rule.
I don't know what.
For number 4.
So
We
let's
did,
start
but
Is it not
with
gonna work?
which is
it won't work as nicely with this one. Because we can't, yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you can't. You can't multiply.
All right, so chain rule would say I bring the 1/3 out front, so I have negative 1/3 times everything inside, so y over x raised to the
Negative 2/3.
negative 2/3. Okay, because I subtracted 1 times. Now I'm going to run my quotient rule.
Okay. It's not a bad one.
so. So would it be just
Y
y
prime.
prime on top?
Y prime
You rewrite y
Prime.
prime for the
times x. We won't rewrite it till the end, because if things cancel, that will be really great.
minus y.
Over
Yeah, that's it. Over x squared.
Okay. These problems are so glorious, aren't they? So, there's a couple things I would do. One, I would go ahead and replace y prime
with that.
with that. But I would also flip this to make this a positive exponent here to give me, their answer comes out so nice, but it doesn't look like it's going to. Okay. Negative, whoa, not equals. Negative 1/3 times x over y to the 2/3 times negative, oh, I can't get rid of it yet. Negative y over x to the 1/3 times x minus y over x squared. I'm just preparing for y'all to hate me. Because we're not done.
Yeah, I figured.
It doesn't look very fun.
So,
Oh my gosh. No.
I've got right here, I'm just going to ignore this part for the moment. I'm basically just going to bring this down for right now so I don't have to keep writing it. So I've got y to the 1/3 and x to the 1/3 times x. Any ideas on what I might be able to do with that?
Like, somehow cancel X.
Sort of.
But like
I've got x to the 1/3, and then I can think I've got x to the 3/3.
So,
Top and bottom, how do I move that to cancel it?
Then you get like the
Basically,
2/3.
hold on. I've basically got this situation. I'm going to do this over here. Negative y over x. This is to the 1/3. This is to the 1/3. Times x to the 3/3 over 1. Let's just pretend it's that. I want to cancel this out somehow. How do I move this from down here to up here?
Pretzel, I don't know.
No.
Wait, how do we
They're
move
not
what?
equal.
How do we move what?
This to up here.
Make it
Like, how would you do it if I said it was this over this? What would you tell me that reduces to?
X squared.
X squared. Because what did you really do?
Subtract.
Subtract. So, what should I do with this?
subtract.
Subtract. So, I'm going to end up with negative y to the 1/3 x to the 2/3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minus y. Okay, that's that piece. So, all over x squared. That goes right there. Now let's see. What else might I have? I promise the answer's supposed to end up really pretty. I think what might be beneficial is to write this all as one.
I was gonna say, like, can we
Like multiply this times this and make it look a little nicer.
Multiply what times what?
Hold on, let me just rewrite this because it's getting a little chaotic. Okay. So this would be negative 1/3 times x over y to the 2/3. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to write each piece to the 2/3 to make life easier in a minute. Times, I have this fraction here that I've redone. Negative y to the 1/3 x to the 2/3 minus y over x squared. So on the bottom, I've basically got 3x squared y to the 2/3. On top, it actually makes it such that all those negatives are going to cancel because in a sense I'm distributing on the top. You see that?
Yeah.
So all my negatives are going to go away, so I'm going to go ahead and make them all positive. So I've got, okay. The bottom is easy. I'm going to go ahead and write that. 3x squared y to the 2/3. On the top, then I've got x to the 2/3 times x to the 2/3 would be x to the 4/3. Y to the 1/3 plus x to the 2/3 y.
now? Actually, I was gonna say, could we take out x to the 2/3, but that would kind of undo what we just did.
Yeah.
You have an idea? I was trying to cook. I was talking to Nate. Class over.
What?
Class is over?
Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess we'll have to finish this tomorrow.